Welcome to Toy Business Unbox, your gateway to the secrets of the toy industry. Here, Jason Shea, a toy entrepreneur and expert in the field.
Every product we develop is really inspired by some of the real life experience that we have with our son.
60% of all toys last year were sold on Amazon, which is incredible.
Be passionate about it because it's a road, it's a journey.
Like when you have an idea that you think is like gonna somewhat like change the world, make things better, I'd say go for it.
We'll guide you through the enchanting world of toy design, marketing, and manufacturing. Now let the unboxing begin.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Toy Business Unbox podcast. Today, we're thrilled to have Willie, the CEO of HABA USA, who have bring over 25 years of experience of leadership within the toy industry. He started his impressive career in marketing and grew into the management role in both Tomy, Play Fusion, and also now HABA, and driving impactful growth across both digital and traditional channels. So he's definitely have tons of experience and tons of story that he can share with us on today's episode. And his experience also offers a very unique view of building brand that from many different perspectives from all sizes as well. So thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Can you talk about your career and how you developed to your current role?
Sure. I started my career in the advertising agency business. I moved to Chicago, didn't know anybody. I started working for a company called Leo Burnett, and I learned a lot about brand advertising, learned a lot about promotions, sales promotions. And then over time, I really evolved into direct marketing, digital marketing, where I moved to another agency. And then I went to the client side and I worked in media. And then eventually I found myself at a company called Learning Curve based here in Chicago, which was eventually acquired by Tomy. After starting in the agency business, half of my career has all been in the toy space.
How would that, your career really shape your approach to your current style of leadership?
Sure. I think when you start in marketing, you really have this foundation that everything begins with the customer, and that has really carried through with me as I now lead HABA here in the U.S. The other thing is, as somebody in the marketing and communication space, you realize how important it is as a leader to not only have a clear strategy for the company, but to be able to articulate that clearly so that everybody in the company is sort of rowing in the right direction. And lastly, as a marketer, if you're really good at what you do, you have to be able to measure the performance of the campaigns and the investment. Really think like a CFO, if you will, and that sort of experience has helped me as I moved into my management role.
I see. So that's a very good point. You also need to understand the financial implication of the decision you're making, obviously. How do you balance all the different initiatives that you have? I can imagine you are doing quite a bit of different marketing initiatives. Are you also still very hands-on with all the different marketing campaigns and the strategy right now?
It's funny. First of all, I have an amazing team of people, so I rely on them very heavily to do the wonderful job that they do. I would like to be more involved when you think about where my passion lies, and based on my experience and what gets me excited, I'd rather be more involved in the marketing department, but they really don't need my help. I'm there to provide guidance. I'm there to answer questions and remove obstacles and provide perspective, but they do such a fantastic job. The best thing I could do is stay out.
I see. And I think HABA is also a pretty big organization. For the U.S. team alone, how many staff do you currently have?
We're relatively small compared to some of the bigger players out there. But I think if you were to look at our company, I think you'd think that we're much, much bigger than we are.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the beauty of having a smaller, more resourceful team is if you stay out of the way and you give people opportunity to really prove themselves, to grow and shine, they'll do outstanding.
I think over the last decade, within the toy and game industry, there's a big shift into e-commerce with the rise of Amazon and all the other online commerce. Has that changed your business strategy over the last decade or so?
I mean, I've been working with Amazon in some capacity, dating all the way back to 1998 when they were just selling books and CDs and DVDs. And it was very clear that they were going to continue to grow and change the way that people shop. And so when I started with Tomy, we were a first-party seller on Amazon. We had a vendor account. We did some limited direct-to-consumer. And then when Play Fusion, it was a smaller company that was more direct-to-consumer. And now at HABA, I mean, we're really a third-party seller on Amazon. We sell on marketplaces. We do direct to consumer. It's a very big portion of what we do. We also own another company called Bella Luna Toys, which is an e-retailer in the toy space. And so this is a really big part of our business, something that I'm very passionate.
Yeah, and I think that's when you come to that's something you also have a lot of experience with digital marketing. With all the different platforms right now, what will you advise to some of the smaller brand to focus more of their effort on? Will you suggest to spend more of their marketing maybe into Amazon or Facebook, Instagram, or even Google or YouTube? Do you have any preferences out of all the different marketing channels?
Sure. It really depends on your business. And my advice to everybody is to try everything and measure everything. And then you need to lean into what works and you need to shut off what doesn't work. And for us, we do a lot of different things. We spend a fair amount on Amazon. Amazon's become a pay-to-play platform. If you want to succeed, you kind of have to do it. And then when it comes to direct-to-consumer, we do a fair amount with Google. That seems to be our highest performing channel. We also use Facebook for more of the top of the funnel, and Instagram as well. We've tried things like Pinterest and have had a lot of success in those areas. And we've tried things like TikTok and we've had less success. And so I think the key is really lean into what works. And then from a budget standpoint, I mean, we have specific parameters that we approve. And if we meet certain thresholds, the team can have unlimited budgets as long as we're delivering the business performance that we're looking to do. And I think that's a different philosophy than most companies where the marketing department is given a fixed budget and they have to stick within that. We are variable on how we approach these things.
So what would you say are some of your biggest challenge in growing the digital marketing presence for HABA, especially into the future in 2025 and beyond?
You know, I think a lot of it, Jason, is just mindset. I feel like we are a company that traditionally, like most toy companies, was wholesale business to business. And as our company has changed, as the economy has changed in America and the toy business has changed, it's been necessary to focus more in the e-commerce space. We've had to rethink how we do our business entirely from an operational standpoint, right? Finding the right platforms. There's areas like drop shipping, which have become more important. We've started revisiting how we package our products so that we can maximize sales and e-commerce and reduce our cost in the supply chain. So that's been very different. Looking at how we merchandise our products, having the right videos and images, copy. You know, I'm more of a traditional person when it comes to copy, explaining how the products work, but you really need to focus on search engine optimization if you want. Getting our team to lean into some of these tools and tactics that hadn't been used previously, I think was a bit of a cultural change. But then when you start seeing the results, I think everybody kind of rallies behind it.
And because I know HABA have a lot of skill with the overall marketing presence, will you say like maybe offline and online is 50-50, or where is like the revenue share, majority of revenue is coming from currently?
I would say it's more e-commerce than it traditionally has been. I won't necessarily get into specifics in terms of percentages, but it is a very big part of our business. It doesn't mean that we are not interested in wholesale or B2B. It's just the interesting thing about it is if you think about the democratization of media and the control that people have, you know, e-commerce, you have all these tools at your disposal that you can drive. There's no buyer that you need to sell into. There's no decision maker that's going to limit you. You really have the ability to pull the different levers that you have at your disposal to drive your sales. And we're a relatively small company compared to other larger toy companies, and our brand isn't as well known here in America. And platform like e-commerce really levels the playing field for us, where maybe you haven't heard about our brand, but if you see that our products have 5 stars and thousands of ratings and reviews, people are going to know that we sell quality product, that we deliver, that we have great customer service, and as a result, we can grow share.
I want to also talk a little bit about your target customer. What would you say your target demographic that you are developing the product around currently?
Our products are high quality. A lot of them are made in Germany. We use a lot of wooden materials and components. So as a result, our products tend to be a little bit more expensive than some of the products you might see on a shelf at a Target or at a Walmart. We tend to have customers that are a little bit more affluent, have a higher household income. Our buyers are traditionally more female, although there are of men who buy our products. We focus on parents, and then we also focus on grandparents. They're increasingly folks who look for the types of products that we sell that are more open-ended play, higher quality, no batteries, things that are a bit more traditional, because we sell a lot of blocks and we sell a lot of dolls and we sell a lot of board games. And these are products that resonate with grandparents because there's a bit of a nostalgia factor. And I think they're very interested in keeping their kids off screens and keeping their grandkids off.
That's true. Do you also try to sell to school directly as well as part of your marketing strategy?
We do. We would like to do more of it. That's definitely an initiative that's going to become more important for us. We do sell, a lot of items that are used by educators and people who buy on our website. We also have a very large library program. We give significant libraries that carry our board games. We also replace any missing pieces or parts. So instead of replacing the whole game, if they're missing a piece, we'll send them the pieces because things tend to walk away. But that's a great opportunity for us to get exposure for our brand and get people to try our products at no cost.
Yeah, that's also something with our own brand, because we also own the brand ourselves. We design sensory product for kids with special needs. But getting and marketing to school has always been like a challenge. We never really cracked the box on exactly how to do it, because I think each school, or sometimes the school district make the decision, sometimes the school make the decision, sometimes the principal make the decision, sometimes the special education director make the decision. So the decision maker is like all different. It's really hard to figure out who exactly we need to market to or put our product in front of. Do you have any like successful case study or like strategy for toys brand that's thinking about marketing to school that they should consider on doing to have a successful marketing to the school?
Two things come to mind. One is just a general practice and principle. We really pride ourselves in having industry-leading customer service. And if you reach out to us, you will speak to a human. If you do want to chat with us or email us, you will get a response. Being available to the educators, whether it's a teacher or administrator, and be able to answer questions, I think is part of it. And we also are flexible so that if somebody wants to use a purchase order, we can support an order that way. We can take credit cards. We do tax exempt. And so when you do these things, people talk, and educators talk to other educators and say, this is a great program. The librarians will talk to other librarians and talk about how great our program is. On the other side, we've done programs where schools drive sales to our websites. We will give a portion of the proceeds back to the school.
Oh, okay.
Well, some of the products we sell on our Bella Luna site are Waldorf toys, Montessori toys. And so we have relationships with Montessori schools and Waldorf schools where if they say, hey, buy things on these specific platforms, and that'll return a certain percentage back to the school as a fundraiser. We've seen a lot of success with this program.
Can you elaborate a little bit more about how is your library program even work?
If you can prove that you're a librarian by showing your credentials or business card, you get basically, it's like a 35% discount off of our retail price. If you're tax exempt, we won't charge you tax. And then, like I said, if there's any issues with the product, and sometimes there's a board game and there's 12 pieces, 2 of them get taken away or go missing, they can email us and we will send them at no cost replacement parts for those games. And so that's basically the program. And so there's great word of mouth. People reach out to us. We don't have to do a whole heck of a lot to promote it to other people. And it's something, we have gone to some library conferences and put out a table, a booth to educate people that the program exists.
I see.
For the most part, it kind of solves.
Do you also send out like free demo kit to the library as well? Or do you just only discount?
We don't do free demo kits, but we're pretty liberal with demos. So if you're a customer that's looking to make a significant investment in our brand, we will make sure that you have products for display. And that goes for our retail customers as well. If you're somebody looking to get into one of our new games, we're happy to include a complimentary copy so that you can use it to teach your staff or educate the customers in your store, because we know that those programs work and improve conversion.
I see. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And what would you say is inside your current product catalog, what is the most successful product, especially when you come to the school? You mentioned about board game and other products.
Yeah, I mean, it's really our board games right now for HABA. We have a product called First Orchard. This is a game that was designed by an educator in Germany. Over 30 years ago, it sold over 3 million copies, and it's basically a board game for 2-year-olds.
Okay.
It teaches them how to identify colors, learn how to take turns, how to win or lose together. There's light strategy, and that's been our best-selling product across the board, not just with the educators. And then the other thing is on Bella Luna, we actually design and manufacture our own toys here in the United States. And some of the products we've done there are play kitchens, play refrigerators, play stands, and these sort of larger items with higher price points. We've done very well with educators. A lot of preschools will buy these products because they're sturdy, they're well made, and they're sustainable. So those are things that have really resonated in that community for us.
And I know throughout your career, you have done a lot of different marketing campaign with your previous career and your current career. What is the most successful marketing campaign that's more related to the toy side that you would like to share with our audience?
Yeah, one I'd love to share because it makes me really happy and really proud was I had been working at Tomy on a toy train brand called Chuggington.
Oh, yes. I heard of that one before. Yes.
Yeah, we had a product that was pretty amazing. It was an elevated toy train track. So you not only could build the trains to run your train, but you could build it vertically. It was like a combination of construction play, toy train play. So you could build these elevated builds and the toys could go with gravity in multiple loops and go.
Oh, I see. Nice.
So we wanted to do an event that talked about elevation and stability. Those were the key benefits of the brand.
Yeah.
Working with our wonderful PR agency at the time, we created an event at Grand Central Station in New York. It was the 100th anniversary of Grand Central Station. And we set a Guinness World Record for tallest toy train track at 17 feet, 4 inches.
Oh, whoa. Whoa, I love that. Okay. Whoa.
It was great. We got over 100 million media impressions. We have a plaque in the office from setting this world record. It was a wonderful event and something that I'm still very proud of today.
I see. So you also hold a few world records. So that's incredible.
Yeah, so that was one that I'm really proud of.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And actually, to pick it back on the thing you just shared, because you have worked in different toy companies over your career as well. If you look at all the different companies you have worked with so far, how does each of the toy brand have different approach to e-commerce? Do they have like different strategy that you implemented with different company or thing that you could share? Yeah,
the biggest distinction I think is when it comes to Amazon is first party selling versus third party.
Yes.
It's a huge difference. I liked getting purchase orders every week. That was nice when we were a vendor seller. Every year you had vendor negotiations with Amazon and they were challenging. And every year Amazon was looking for more money. And every year the metrics that they were evaluating on were changing. And it was very unpredictable because it tended to happen after you've set your business plan for the year. Now doing third party sales as a marketplace seller, it's so much more within your control. Now that doesn't mean that Amazon isn't going to increase their fees or change how they measure your and weigh your products and things like that. But you have way more control over your pricing, way more control over your catalog, way more control over your promotions. And so for me, I'm a huge fan of doing third party selling. And I just feel like it gives you way more flexibility and ownership over your business.
I 100% agree with that, with all the different brands that we also assist and partner with. Using the Seller Central platform does give you a lot more flexibility, just like you mentioned, on what you can do and cannot do. And one of the most frequent complaint I heard from toy brand that's selling to Vendor Central is you lose a lot of the pricing control because sometimes Amazon can just go in and change your price without getting your consensus.
It was a bigger issue when I worked at a big company like Tomy. It was significantly bigger. What would end up happening was we were selling on Target, Walmart, and Amazon. Yeah. And then inevitably, one of the prices would change for whatever reason. Maybe somebody on Amazon, a third-party seller, was selling at a very low price to clear out a unit or two. Amazon would temporarily lower to win the buy box. Amazon, Walmart would match Target. And suddenly, everybody's selling it at a ridiculously low price and raising money. And nobody is willing to fix it. They don't want to talk about prices. And all it does is erode value for everybody. And that was really, really big challenge. And I spent a lot of my time focusing on that, trying to fix those problems instead of trying to grow the business.
Yeah, that's definitely, even with Seller Central itself, it's not without problem. It still have other challenges, but just like you mentioned, it does give you a little bit more bell and whistle and more control over your brand. But thank you so much for sharing that because you have experience doing both, obviously. And what other advice will you give to newcomers, like a new or smaller toy brand, to the digital e-commerce and other with the industry right now? What are some of the strategy you recommend them to try?
Yeah, there's a variety of different things. First and foremost, you just got to ask a lot of questions and try a lot of different things. If it's an area you're not familiar with, you got to find the right partners who can educate you on what needs to be done. Folks that have their finger on the pulse of the latest trends. But I would also encourage you to not rely on your partner, but to figure it out, to really understand what they're doing, so much so that you could do it yourself, because that's the only way to really learn, and those skills will stick with you throughout your career. And then lastly, as I mentioned earlier, do not discount the importance of the operational. Because I think as a marketer, you think about, how do I merchandise my products? How do I sell them? How do I do the SEO? But things that really have a huge impact are your cube efficiency, your e-com packaging, your in-stock rate, those sorts of things. And I think those were things I didn't think about early on in my career. When you think about it, most people, when they buy a product in e-com, it comes in a box. Any retail packaging that you're putting in there, unless it's for a board game and it's essential for the play, is really waste. And it's money that you're spending in production. It's space that's costing you in terms of your inbound shipment, your outbound shipments to the retail partner, and then your fees for them to ship out to the end customer. And when you think about how much you can save throughout the entire process, it's something every company should be thinking about, not just toy companies. Plus, it's better for the environment and there's less waste.
Yeah, that's a really, thank you for sharing that. And as well, wrapping up today's interview, if you have to share like one major piece of advice with someone that's really just getting started in the toy and game industry, what would that be?
It sounds silly, but have fun. I mean, we get to work every day and in the toy industry, where what we're doing is bringing joy to kids and bringing families together and connections and really celebrating play. I'm thankful because I've worked in other areas that like significantly less fun when you're working on insurance. No offense, but lean into the fact that we're selling toys, have fun, enjoy it, get to play the products and play with the toys. And it's a really nice community. Everybody in the business knows each other. People, for the most part, while the business is competitive, are still very friendly, willing to work together and collaborate and share. Really also lean into the community as well.
Yeah, that's a really good piece of advice. For our listener, where can people find you online?
Yeah, look for me on LinkedIn. It's just Willie Wilkov, Wilkov. Shoot me a note. I'd love to connect with you if you have questions. I'm happy to answer them. And I always like meeting new people in the industry.
Yeah, and thank you so much for joining us on the interview and sharing all your knowledges. I find it very beneficial as well. For our listeners, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Toy Business Unbox podcast. We hope you have enjoyed the conversation and find it insightful and inspiring. If you like what you have here, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you'll never miss an episode. We really appreciate your support, and we'd love it if you can leave us a review and share the podcast with your friend or coworker. For more resource, tip, and the latest update in the toy industry, visit our website at toy-launch.com. Join the conversation and connect with us on social media using hashtag Toy Business Unbox. We would love to hear your feedback and your suggestion for future episodes. Until next time, keep innovating, keep creating, keep bringing joy to toys. This is Jason Shea signing off on the Toy Business Unbox podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you, everyone.